I'm gonna start stream with 2 programming notes. Not too much of importance or anything, but one, as of last night, the Dallas Mavericks are out of the NBA playoffs. So for that reason, we won't have basketball really. Potentially making me move start times to streams and stuff because I probably won't be. I might watch games here and there, but as far as my actual interest in them has drastically decreased. Second programming note. I was looking over the schedule and also the games I currently have going on the channel and everything, and I've made the decision to finally retire. What's the game called? Oh, I was like, what's the fucking game called? And I was getting distracted with, I was looking at something else. The Casey's mod to Inscription. I think I was thinking about it this week, and I was gonna do like even just one more of those streams, but I think I'm gonna continue playing it, but just off stream. So, I hope you enjoyed I think I did 2 or 3 streams of the Casey's mod. I'm probably just gonna do it off stream though, because I kind of want to just do it while I'm chilling on the internet, probably. So yeah, just a little programming note so that streams are the other games that I'm doing, like this one, like where is it? This one. I gotta press X as I was adjusting a slider. Ace Attorney. Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trilogy. So, we got only an hour into this. What was it? Technically Wednesday night, I think? The last stream. And now, we're here to play more. Hopefully more than an hour. Hopefully more than an hour. September 8th, 11:43 a.m. District Court. Defendant lobby. Number 1. Oh yeah, I remember. I was like, there was like maybe a half second where I was like, wait, who is this? Silly me. Amnesia? I can't believe my lawyer's trying to defend me in such a state. Why didn't you tell me, sir? I'm sorry I didn't mention it to you. I was attacked by a fire extinguisher. Oh, I know what to do. I heard you can fix something like this with a really strong shock to your system. Come on, lower your head a little. A Maggie kick should be all you need. Trying to recall. I think she was accused of killing her lover. Her 8 years, her senior lover. Which I'm not judging. Fuck it. Fuck it. Fuck it. Go ahead, I guess. Phoenix says, no. I think I'll pass on this one. Come on! I'm sorry. Whenever I see someone in trouble, I have a hard time leaving them alone. I tend to stick my nose where it doesn't belong and try to tackle everyone's problems. Well, here's one problem you won't be tackling today. Well, we're here to solve your problem first. We can deal with mine later. For now, do you think you can fill me in on a few things? Of course! I'd be honored to. Well, I guess we'll start with my name, and then I can tell you about me. No, that's okay, really. I think I know you and your name pretty well by now. Important details only, please. I was wondering if you could help me figure out a few things about myself. Oh. So, my name is Phoenix Wright. What a weird name. Apparently, his amnesia is so deep he forgot his own name, which is quite deep. That is deep amnesia in this situation. Like, I'm not an expert or anything, but I know, at least in portrayed in media, when you have a amnesia like this, I'm sure it can vary between cases, but like, it's always like you don't forget like things as like your name It's more like recent stuff, right? This is serious. You really don't remember. I'll tell you what, sir. You can have this back, and maybe it'll help. This is a business card? I got this from you. It's my most prized possession. You can borrow it for now, but please give it back, okay? Okay. There's some numbers written on the back. Oh, that's your cell phone number. Phoenix's business card added. It's my business card. I handwrote my cell phone number on the back. I guess for now we should stop talking about me and start talking about this case. This case? You know who we're missing? A decent sidekick. Where's Maya? Is she coming back? Are you gonna get Maya back? Where is she? It made it the end of the first game. It seemed like she was gonna come back. You know? Yep. Can you think of anything that would be helpful for me to know? What can I tell you? I can't think of anything other than the incident with that cell phone, but... Cell phone? Yeah, your eyes lit up when we talked about it at the detention center, sir. I would love it if this game, instead of making me do the investigation phases, all cases during this game are like ones that he already did the investigation prior. Somehow they work it out so that then he only has to like get back his memories of the investigation. It just gives me everything. Then we'll just do the court cases and move on with our day. Hurry up and tell me then. This might be very important. Okay, Roger. Flashback. It was on the day of the crime, just before 6 p.m. I picked up a lost cell phone while on a walk with Dustin. She has a blue badger, like, cut off sleeve jacket. I love it. All of a sudden, the phone began to ring. Beep. Hello? Oh, thank you. I've been searching for my phone. Is this yours? Oh, I'm glad you called. We can meet up and I can give you this back. Give this back. I'll be right there. I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name. You can call me Maggie. What is that? What was that bundle thing she was holding? I didn't get a good look. Okay, that must have been Phoenix. We agreed to meet up at 6 p.m. Dustin and I waited for the person to show up, but they never did. So where's this phone you found now? I gave it to you yesterday. Huh? To me? Is it that phone in my pocket? You mean this? Do you think it has anything to do with the murder? I don't really know. But my eyes lit up. Who is this gonna be? Who's it 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 gonna be? Please don't be Butts. Please don't be Butts. You were here all along. Oh, fucking, it's Maya. I fucking called it. You're so mean. I called you a million times, but you wouldn't pick up. And when I went to check in the courtroom, everyone had already left. Now who the heck is this? Now who the heck is this? Let me guess. I'm supposed to know this girl too. Hey, good morning, Maggie. And a good morning to you too, Maya. So, how's it going? Is there a word for worse than abysmal? Oh? And what if I said that everything will be fine? That's right. It's Maya to the rescue with the ultra-decisive, super important evidence. Here you go. Here you are, Nick. The thing you wanted me to bring. I forgot. It's been not actually that long in real time, but long enough for me to completely forget. Especially because we had the chapter without Maya at the end of the first game. Forgot she called Phoenix Nick. Isn't she so quirky? Huh? Oh, thanks. What the heck is this? A list? It has about 20 people's names and phone numbers written on it. It was kind of tough, but I managed to dig up some dirt. It looks like these guys are up to no good. Start making trouble in the neighborhood. No good? As in, there's a group of con artists the police are currently investigating. I think these guys are members of that group. Names list. Added to court record. A list of unfamiliar names and phone numbers. Members of a con artist group. Why would a group of con artists pop up in a case like this? Don't look at me! Where did you get this list from in the first place? What? Don't you remember, Nick? You're the one who asked me to look this up yesterday. Oh, is that right? These numbers were in the memory of that phone Maggie found. Okay. Why the fuck doesn't Phoenix or this Maggie girl literally fill Maya in? Why do they have to do the whole song and dance of like, oh, I gotta act like I'm not suffering from amnesia? So that's where they're from. You're awfully forgetful these days, Nick. I hope I never get to be a forgetful prune like you. Actually, Mr. Wright is... Mr. Wright, recess is now over. Please bring the defendant and return to the courtroom immediately. Oh, oops. Guess we have to get going. We can talk about you being old later, Nick. Wish us luck. Guess I have all the pieces now. More or less. All that's left is to put it all together. I'm not going to lose this. I can't. Come on, Nick. Better get a move on. Yeah. Nick. He's like, why are you calling me Nick now? September 8th, 11:54. District Court, courtroom number 2. Murmurs. No, I got it. Okay, I'm coming back. Court will now reconvene. Please call your next witness to the stand, Mr. Payne.
Yes, Your Honor. But before I do, if I may say a few words.
What is it, Mr. Payne? I feel like I've altered the voice slightly.
It's about the next witness. He has a tendency to say things that rub people the wrong way, you see. He has the high chance of being cancelled, so I asked that the court might be a little lenient on...
There is no need to give a preface. Just hurry up and call your witness, please.
Yes, Your Honor. Prosecution calls its next witness. A drifter who was taking a walk in the park on the day of the murder.
Oh, that's the guy that attacked me, right? A drifter?
Please state your name for the court, witness.
Before I do, I'd like to clarify a little something.
Oh, alright, go ahead. Please don't say.
Just now you introduced my wonderful self to the court, correct? Perhaps as a drifter who is taking a walk?
Did I?
But I will not stand for that. Now you've tinted the court's eyes and colored me wrongly. Sure, I suppose calling me, but to give it and just settle would be everything in my life is to the utmost clear. I am merely looking for the perfect top-notch unbeatable lawyer. The rigorous selection process was in a serious...
Yes, I understand. I'm very sorry. I will be more careful from now on.
But what is he? A human chatterbox? Ugh, I have to question him. Fashion, cars, women, glasses, and of course, university. First rates only need apply. Glasses? But you aren't wearing glasses. That's enough. Your name, witness. Oh, is that how you want to play this? Using your power and influence to keep the young people down? I see how you work now. You old people and your dirty tricks. You thought you had me, but you thought wrong. I'm sorry. It won't happen again. Damn. Okay, sorry. Oh, man. I forgive you. Alright, I suppose I can tell you my name. I'm Richard Wellington, the drifting virtuoso with a PhD in drifting, as it were. And no, not the cool kind of drifting. If you wanted to, you could call me a university student in transit.
Mr. Wellington, on the day of the murder, you were taking a Strolling through the park, correct?
It would appear that you are attached to that word. If you must, then by all means. But I remind you that I am in no way a prepubescent boy out on a walk with mommy. If you must know, I am...
Anyway, please testify to this court what you saw during your walk through the park.
See, you said it again, taking a walk. You know you. What you witnessed will do, Mr. Wellington. This guy's obnoxious. I was at the park all afternoon, deep in thought about my life situation. I don't remember the time all that well, but I do believe it was past 6 p.m. All of a sudden, a police officer falls from above right in front of my eyes. Without a thought, I looked up, and there I met the eyes of a charming young lady. Of course, I remember her sweet face. It was that of the pretty defendant there. The only other thing I saw was a banana that fell with the police officer. Banana? That was certainly a decisive testimony.
Decisive? Nick, did you hear what he just said?
Yeah?
That's all you have to say? How can you be so calm?
Strange. My mind is very calm and clear. Maybe it's because I believe in my client?
You mean Maggie?
Yes, and if she really is innocent, then that can only mean one thing. That guy is lying. Excuse me. You may now question the witness, Mr. Wright. I'll find out the truth, no matter how well you craft your lies. Okay, let's see. He's at the park all afternoon. Okay. So you were at the park all afternoon. You seem to have a lot of free time. That was very rude of you, but then again, what can I expect? That's what you get from a man who graduated from a no-name trashy university. No-name? Trashy? Now, this might be hard for a mush-headed, feeble-minded baboon like you, but I have to think very carefully about the future of our great country. But I thought you said you were thinking about which college to go to just now. Oh, please. Which university I go to will directly affect the very future of this country. Arrogant little snot. How did you know what time it was? I see you're not wearing a watch, so... I mean, okay, wait a second. Just because he's not wearing a watch right now doesn't mean he couldn't possibly be wearing a watch before. Silly question. Or more silly explanation. Is that the best you can do? Do you think you can discredit me like that? You're just a third-rate biased fool. I guess I can't expect real smarts from you. His arrogance is really intolerable. So what should I do now? Press harder! Answer the fucking question. How did you know what time it was? Tisk, tisk. I can't believe I have to deal with a worm like you. You're just a shallow man who can only slam on desks and point at people for fun. I guess I don't have a choice. I'll try to explain it so that even a third-rate simpleton like you can understand. There was this little thing they call a clock at the park. Did you get that? Do you know what a clock is? Clock? C-L-O-C-K? It's a thing that tells you the time. As you can see, Mr. Wright, it's even in this picture of the crime scene. Oh, so it is. I looked at that clock, and that's how I knew the time. But if you ask me, this whole concept of breaking is total and utter not a real first-class person to live by and to wear a watch. What a ridiculous people who live free without constraints. And yet again, another flood of meaningless words. Talk about a first-class waste of time. In any case... Hold it! And how did you know he was a police officer? I would assume his outfit, yeah? You obviously have no idea how powerful my deductive reasoning skills are. With one glance, I could tell just what kind of occupation he held. That shoddy, do-it-yourself hairstyle. It was also the way he tied his tie and the... Oh, and I suppose it was also because he was wearing an officer's uniform. Shouldn't that statement have come first?
Wow, that's pretty impressive. Hey, Nick, do you think he's figured out what I do?
Even I haven't figured that out yet. Get it? Amnesia. Hold it! Hold it! Are you sure you got a good look at her face? Animals have this thing called an eye, Mr. Wright. They use this eye to see things. In the case of humans, we have two of them. Yes, even you. I don't care if I have them or not. Did you or did you not get a clear look at her face?
Yes, that's what the witness was just about to get to. I would like to request that Mr. Wright not use such a loud voice during questioning.
Sustained. Mr. Wright, please refrain from raising your voice in this court. And please don't make me have to raise my voice. Are you finished? I'd like to continue if that's all right with you. Don't you dare call her sweet face. So you're sure you're not mistaken? Please, don't confuse your pitiful train wreck of a life with mine. I'm what you call a famous brand name product, while you are only a cheap imitation. There is no way someone as magnificent as myself could have made a mistake.
Of course, of course.
Oh, ho, 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 of course. Did you notice anything else of interest, witness? Something about a banana. The banana? Well, it was actually more than just one. More like a bunch of... Wait a second. Didn't I call this last time? I said this in the last part. I said how it looked like a bunch of bananas. Ugh. Ugh. Well, it was actually more than just one. More like a bunch of bananas. Now, what would a bunch of bananas be doing there? And why would I know such a thing? I'm only telling you what I saw. That's really strange. Maggie never mentioned anything about a bunch of bananas. That's it, Nick. He's got to be lying about the bananas. And then Phoenix is like, who gives a shit about the bananas? He could be, but there's no reason for him to lie about there being bananas at the crime scene. And what if it's not a lie? Well, maybe he thought he was seeing one thing, and it was something else. If he mistook something else for a bunch of bananas, then that would be an inaccuracy. Think, Phoenix, think. My client is innocent. There's no way he could have seen what he says he did. Which means if we can somehow show he's lying... Yeah, that's exactly what we need to do. She's right. She's got a sharp mind, but I just wish I could remember who she is. But I allow her to stand next to me for some reason. Is everything okay, Nick? Alright, let's go. Something about bananas. 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 Mr. Wellington? I believe I have the bananas you saw right here. Ah, so you knew about the bananas too. Why didn't you say so earlier? But don't think you can use this as a way to pull more information out of me. And that's where you'd be wrong. Mr. Wright, what is the meaning of this?
Isn't that the baseball glove?
Huh? What? A baseball glove? Doesn't it look delicious? Care for a bite? Throws the glove at him. Just right at his face. That's not... It's a... No! Your Honor, I think this proves one very important fact. This witness fucking loves bananas. Just thinks about them constantly 24/7. Has bad eyesight or knows nothing about baseball. I'm gonna think this middle one probably is what the game wants me to pick. Although picking loves bananas is very hard not to do. By the way, just how bad are your eyes? How? What? You? Why are you asking me about this all of a sudden?
Your Honor, it is very simple to mistake a glove for a bunch of bananas.
No, even with my bad eyes. They're old. I can see it's glove, not bananas. But I don't think so. Objection overruled. You're one of those people. Yes, you know what I mean. You're like those people who refuse to accept Galileo. You're too used to your world view to the possibilities. Flat world. Sure, in the end, we find out, in view from far, I don't think there's room enough to... And that is why I asked you how bad your eyesight is. They're both 2200. I suppose you're going to tell me that's terrible, right? Why are you not wearing your glasses today, then? That's because I lost them recently, you see. Of course, I was planning on getting a new pair made right away. But you know, my glasses are no ordinary glasses, so to replace them... How about when you witnessed the crime? Were you wearing your glasses then? Chokes himself there. How about it, witness? You are an unrelenting, evil man. You're like those people who reject Joan of Arc. She's brave and courageous, only to be caught by horrible. Why she didn't do anything wrong? She got burned. Which boils down to you were not wearing glasses at that time. Therefore, the identity of the woman at the scene of the crime and that of the defendant cannot be proven to be the same by this witness. But the height difference was only 9 feet. It was very possible for him to see the face of the culprit standing on the upper path. Witness, please be more accurate in your testimony. Remember, person's life is at stake. Yes, Your Honor. Now then, please continue with your testimony.
Please tell the court what happened next in the moments after you witnessed the crime.
The girl on the upper path ran away as soon as she realized I was there. After that, I immediately called the police station to report the crime. It must have been 6:45 p.m. when I made the call. They must have a lot of free time on their hands since they showed up within 10 minutes. So the person who was on the upper path saw you and then ran away. Yes, that is correct. Which is why even someone without a superior brain like mine can understand that. That girl is the murderer. You may question the witness now, Mr. Wright. She ran away, just like that? Yes, she did. She saw me and flew the nest like the guilty bird she is. Get it, bird? Oh, I'm sorry. Was that pun too hard for someone who only got a third-rate education? Actually, that did take me a few seconds to get. Anyway, she ran away the instant she saw you. How could you tell it was my client?
A witness has already answered that question. He has stated that the defendant is the culprit.
This is true, Mr. Wright. I'm striking your question from the record. How can I get more information out of him? Immediately? As in immediately. I mean, sure, a minute might have elapsed before I did, but that's the duty of every good citizen. Or did they not teach that at your pitiful school? I think people learn about how to call the police in college? Hey, Nick, I think you should take a look at the court record for a sec. What? Oh, should I? Oh, why did she tell me to look at the... After that, I immediately called the police. Oh, are these glasses his? Is that what this whole thing is? I'm curious. How do you know what time it was? A detective told me. You know which one I mean. The one with the jacket that makes him look like a dropout from a no-name high school. Hey, pal. I graduated from a pretty good, top-ranked college. I don't believe this. It doesn't matter. I don't believe I was mistaken on what time I called. And if I'm wrong, then that detective obviously doesn't know how to tell time. What? Why, you're just some lousy kiddo.
I think the court can see your point. Anyway, how did the police respond?
So you're saying that there were police on the scene by 7 p.m.? They got there before that, I think. There usually aren't many people in that area at that time of day. But suddenly, before I knew it, there were people crawling over, gawking. It certainly says something about the morals of the people in this country. I can't find anything out of the ordinary in his testimony. Why don't you take one more look at the court record? Why do you want me to check on a court record? Yeah, guess I should. Okay, she said it when this statement came across, and I pressed on this. After that, I immediately called the police station to report the crime. The girl on the upper path ran away as soon as she realized I was there. Okay. And we have the name thing. It must have been 6:45 when I made the call. The time seems off, doesn't it? If he says that he made the call... showed up within 10 minutes, right? Because the girl on the upper path ran away as soon as she realized I was there. After that, I immediately called the police station to report the crime. So if he immediately called the police... then that would be right when it happened, because he fell and died. And he fell and died at 6:28. But then it says it must have been 6:45 when I made the call. Let's just Yes, baby. Mr. Wellington, would you please take a look at this? You mean the victim's autopsy report? According to this, the murder occurred at 6:28 p.m. So what of it? You said that you called the police immediately after the murder took place. However, by the time you had called the police, it was already 6:45 p.m. There's clearly a 15-minute gap here. Do you deny it? I think this court would like to hear what you were doing during this 15-minute gap.
The witness was in shock at the time after witnessing a terrible murder. It's only to be expected that he would be a little dazed.
15 minutes is hardly what I would call a little dazed.
Ah!
Mr. Wellington! Yes? Explain yourself. What were you doing during those 15 minutes? Answer the fucking question. Telephone, spit it out. I was searching for a phone booth. A phone booth? You mean you don't have a cell phone? You and your questions, as if you're trying to open all the layers of a matryoshka doll. That's what it is. You must think you're really something special. Witness? I lost my cell phone. There, you happy? You lost it? Unbelievable, you lose your glasses and your cell phone. You must be very scatterbrained when it comes to your belongings. What? Are you saying that first-rate people are never allowed to lose things? Haven't you ever heard that old genius stuff? So by that rationale, since I have my own court, genius, I don't think a simple plain. Enough. Oh man, oh man. Wait, hold on a second. He lost his cell phone? Nick, that cell phone, could it be? You mean this phone Maggie found? There's no way. Boy, I didn't see this coming. What should I do now? Question further, go! Mr. Wellington, where's your cell phone right now? What are you getting all excited about? You seem to be a little confused. I found my phone, I'll have you know. See? Here it is. Definitely not a burner. Oh. I see. Looks like he's got his phone. And I thought that just maybe this was his. Well then, I think we've cleared this issue up. At the time of the murder, witness did not have a cell phone because he had lost it. Therefore, delay in his call was caused by a search for a phone booth. Well, that's the gist of it. I guess you could put it that way and leave it at that. Do you have any further questions, Mr. Wright? There is something. Your Honor, the witness's testimony does not make any sense. I don't believe that there was ever a need for the witness to search for a phone. How dare you? You can't make outrageous claims like that. You do have some sort of proof, don't you? Well, yeah, of course. This evidence should be good enough, I think. Alright, let's have this proof then. Please present proof that the witness had no need to search for a public phone booth. Was there a phone booth in one of the photos? Is that what it is? That's a phone booth, yeah. It's quite simple, actually. Please take a look at this. At the crime scene photo.
Is there a problem with it?
Oh, there's nothing wrong with the picture. But if you don't understand my logic after looking at it, something is wrong with you. No! It's a phone booth. That is correct. All the defendant had to do was walk 3 steps. Mr. Wellington, why did you not use the phone that was right in front of you? Oh. Order! Order!
What does reporting the crime a little late prove for the defense?
Witness can't explain what he was doing for those 15 minutes. That is reason enough to throw suspicion on his testimony. Yes, this is very true. What do you have to say for yourself, witness?
And I bet this phone really is his, Nick. He must have killed Dustin to get his phone back.
But Maggie said that she was going to return it to him. So there was no reason for him to kill for it. And on top of that, we still have the phone she found anyway. But if he wasn't looking for a cell phone, maybe he was looking for something else. Was he? Mr. Wright! Yes, Your Honor. Do you have any thoughts you would like to share with the court? Can you offer an explanation as to what the witness was doing during those 50 minutes? I totally have an idea. There is only one possible explanation. Alright, let's hear your explanation. However, be forewarned that if your explanation is not persuasive, you will be penalized. Think carefully before you present, Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. Probably shouldn't have said there was only one possibility. Please present to the court the one piece of evidence that will answer the following. Why didn't the witness call the police right away? Am I bogged here? Why didn't the witness call the police right away? Bam. I don't think any of this would make sense to answer that question. Why didn't the witness call the police right away? Wouldn't it be this? Wouldn't it be the glove? Wouldn't be that. Wouldn't be that. Wait, can you? No. Okay. Found under the victim's body. Piece of near-side lens were found nearby. Dustin's autopsy. Broken neck. Body was also covered in bruises. If I do have the answer to it, if I'm in fact not just boning myself, it's gonna be this, or it's this, right? Those would be the only two options. But how would these actually make sense? Also, if I'm wrong, do I only lose 1 peg of life? Didn't I lose 2 in the first game? Have they made it easier for me? She got in contact with its owner, but they never showed. Why didn't the witness call the police right away? Ah, fuck it. I'm probably wrong. Perhaps this is the evidence you need to be convinced? Perhaps. That was just an idea I thought I'd throw out. Get boned. Lose some life. Okay, please present. Oh, so I'm stuck. I'm stuck in this dialogue. So I definitely have to present the right answer. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, we've used 2. Can I present a person? Okay, so it's not this. It's my badge. Some glasses. Glasses? Mr. Wellington. What? Don't do that. You almost gave me a heart attack. These are your glasses, aren't they? Where? Where did you find... I believe the court all heard what you just confessed to. That these glasses are in fact yours. I'll tell you where they were found, Mr. Wellington. These glasses were found under the victim's body. Under the victim's body? Order! Order! Now, wait a second. Hold on. I didn't confess or confirm anything. Your Honor, I think the answer is quite clear here. As he fell, Dustin Prince grabbed the culprit's glasses. The culprit knew that he had to find his glasses and searched frantically for them. What he didn't realize was that they were under the victim's body. And that is why it took him 15 minutes to make that call. Mr. Wright, are you indicting the witness as the real murderer? Of course, that is precisely what I'm doing. Damn, he just gave himself a ring dinger. If you get that reference, man, you end up in the same fucking sometimes internet rabbit holes that I frequent. I know I'm right. He is the real murderer. Did you figure it out, Nick? More or less. Turns out the cell phone was the key to this case after all. Anyway, now is our chance to deep six this guy. I'll sink him in one shot. Yeah! This is so exciting watching you work again. Somehow, my old self is coming back to me. It's time to sink or swim. Everything rests on the edge of a knife. This is the moment I've been waiting for. Order! Order!
Your Honor, the defense is making a mockery of this court. Without any solid ground to stand on, he accuses the witness of being the murderer.
Yeah, that's right. I'm no criminal. This third-rate fraud of a lawyer. In that case, why don't we look at it from a different perspective? Let's hear your explanation as to why you're not the murderer. Why, that's easy. For example, there's, the name the victim wrote. What about that? Oh, you mean the name Maggie? Yeah, even an idiot like you can read that, right? But we already know this was not written by the victim himself. After all, the defendant's name is Maggie, and the victim was left-handed. In other words, in order to make the defendant look guilty, real criminal used the victim's right hand to write her name on the ground, question mark. But, wouldn't that mean that the real criminal was someone the defendant knew? Otherwise, how else would they know her, how else would that person know her name was Maggie, Maggie? That is a good point. Witness didn't even know of Miss Bird before the trial. I forgot. Is there any way this creep could have known Maggie's name beforehand? There was a way. It'd be best if I could prove that the witness had a chance to learn that the defendant's name was Maggie. Now, will defense please present its case? How could the witness have known the defendant's name? It would be this, right? Miss Wellington, you didn't have your cell phone with you on the day of the murder, correct? So what if I didn't? When you realized you had lost it, what did you do? What did I do? Did you try to find it by calling it? Why, you? How dare you?
Your Honor, these questions have nothing to do with...
Overruled. Mr. Wright, where are you going with this line of questioning? Do you think there is some relation between the witness's cell phone and the murder? I do, Your Honor. On the day of the murder, Maggie Bird picked up a lost phone in the park. And she also received a phone call from the owner of the phone. Beep. Hello? Oh, thank you. I've been searching for my phone. Is this yours? Oh, I'm glad you called. We can meet up and I can give you this back. I'll be right there. I'm sorry I didn't catch your name. You can call me Maggie. Da-na-na-na. That was when you learned that her name was Maggie. But you made one fatal mistake. Fatal mistake? My client's name is Maggie, but the name that was written on the ground was Maggie. This is a mistake that could only occur if all you knew was how her name sounded. Order! Order!
But, Your Honor, a witness has no motive.
And your point is?
It's very simple, Your Honor. A person usually would not kill someone without a reason. Mr. Wellington had no reason to kill anyone.
That is absolutely correct. I don't have a motive. Mr. Wright? Your Honor? Can you explain what motive this witness could have had? It's very simple, Your Honor. Are you sure, Nick? I said I can't offer an explanation, then the trial's over, right? Yeah, but... Now then, please present to this court proof that the witness had a motive. Names list, yeah? Mr. Wellington's motive is right here. What is this? A list? These phone numbers were pulled from the memory of the phone the defendant found. We have determined that the people on this list are members of a certain group. You looked up all those numbers? Of course. This list of phone numbers was stored in the cell phone's memory. The names and numbers belong to people who are members of a certain con artist group.
What? Con artist?
Can you explain why these numbers are on your phone, Mr. Wellington? This is an outrage, an invasion of privacy. Looking up the phone numbers of a person's phone is a worse crime than murder. You're one of those people. You're just like the cops that raid the brilliant arts. You're just sort of a genius and dialogue of the goddess. I don't care, Mr. Wellington. All I want is for you to tell us what this list is about. You think any of you know what it's like to be a refined man such as me?
Your Honor, this is unjustified badgering of the witness.
Objection overruled. Mr. Wright, what is the meaning of this? Why would the witness have the numbers of a group of con artists on his phone? Isn't that obvious? The witness is a member. Mr. Wellington is a member of this very group. No! All of your friends' phone numbers are stored right here on this phone. If anyone were to look into these phone numbers, it would be all over for you. That is why you had to kill. No, this is too much. That does make quite a bit of sense, I guess. Well, Mr. Wellington, would you care to explain? Got you now. That police officer. Your Honor,
Your Honor,
what is it, Mr. Payne?
Your Honor, this is unjustified badgering of the witness.
He's saying that again. You said the exact thing, same thing, only a few seconds ago.
Please, let's think about the content of that phone call.
Beep. Hello? Oh, thank you. I've been searching for my phone.
Is this yours? Oh, I'm glad you called. We can meet up and I can give this back. The defendant had already promised that she would return the phone. After that, all Mr. Wellington had to do was meet Miss Bird to get his phone back. Why, then, would he need to kill anyone?
That is a valid point. What does the defense think about this?
If you think about it logically, then it makes sense. Then maybe we should be thinking outside the box.
Yeah, if we think like that, let's see. Maybe the slime ball saw something at the crime scene that made him commit murder. Your thoughts, Mr. Wright? Well, I don't think Mr. Wellington went to pick up his phone in a very friendly manner.
But he was promised his phone, so why would he have been unfriendly to the defendant?
I think he must have seen something that didn't agree with him when he got there. Well, then, Mr. Wright, what was this something that didn't agree with the witness? What was this something that didn't agree with the witness? What? What does it mean? What does the sentence mean? What was the something that didn't agree with the witness? I mean, is it the picture of him because he's a cop? I have no idea. Is that it? The witness saw this. Mr. Wellington, is he correct? By the expression on his face, I would say that wasn't it. Looks like I was wrong. Cool. Try to think before you present again. So he went to get his cell phone back, but when he got there, he lost control of himself. Probably because he saw something that was really bad for him there. That really bad thing was... Okay, so he saw something bad? Okay, it wouldn't be the autopsy report. Wouldn't it be the cell phone? Was he just pissed that... I mean... It's not crime photo 1. It wouldn't be crime photo 2. Would it? I mean, we haven't used this, but like, what would? They didn't. This wouldn't have been at the scene though, right? Can't be this. Can't be this. Is it? Wait, so it's glasses and they were smashed? But would he murder someone just? No, it doesn't make sense. Something about the glove? I am so confused. What the fuck is this logic? Just because I haven't used it. I'm curious. To witness all this, Mr. Wellington, is he correct? Damn it. Okay, I should probably save before I get fucked over, yeah? Did that trusty save scum in there. Okay. Oh wow, I'm gonna have a loss, aren't I? Because I can't. What the fuck? Wait, do I present the dude himself? Is that what I'm supposed to do? If it ends up being him, and I selected the picture because it showed the police officer in it, but I was supposed to actually choose the police officer, I'm gonna be very upset. Well, it is that, isn't it? I hate that this game switched it up so that you can like show a person as evidence. Some bullshit. What Mr. Wellington saw was the victim.
The victim? You mean Dustin Prince?
Dustin Prince had gone on his date right after his shift was over. With no time to change, he went to the park still wearing his police uniform. Oh! The girl that picked up my phone is with a policeman. He couldn't have known they were going out, so he began to worry. He was afraid. Oh, okay. That makes a bit more sense. He was afraid the policeman would ask a few questions before returning the phone. If I do anything suspicious, he might run a check on my phone. In his mind, it was possible they'd already run a check on the phone. And he went into a panic, is what you're saying. Exactly. Officer Prince was murdered simply because he was in uniform. Mr. Payne, do you have any comments?
I'm thinking.
Seems the truth has come at last. Come out at last, the witness. Mr. Wellington, you are... Ha, 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 ha. Ha, ha, ha. Impressive. Not bad for a person with a third-rate education. What's that supposed to mean? Evidence. Evidence? Ugh, it's really creeping me out. All you've been waving around and talking about is that suspicious cell phone. Suspicious phone number this, suspicious con group that. They're all on that phone. But who's to say that phone is really mine? Where's your proof, your evidence? You want proof that this phone is yours? Ha 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 ha. Yeah, I already told you earlier. That phone I lost, I've already found it. You don't have even the slightest idea who the phone in your hand belongs to. But you can be sure it isn't mine, you simpleton. What? 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 It feels good to see you squirm. You seem to have a problem on our hands with this phone. Whose phone is it? Without knowing that is meaningless as evidence. Your Honor? It's bad. I can't let him turn the tables on me like this. This is still Phoenix speaking. Cell phone. There has to be something I've overlooked. There's got to be. Maybe. Fingerprints. Bring back the dust. Bring back the dust. I mean, I mistakenly went like the judge, because the judge is like the only one who usually does the I mean, fingerprints. Seems like too implausible of an answer. What is these store numbers? This phone has the names and numbers of those in the con group in its memory. I can show them to you, Your Honor. I don't believe this. What are you talking about? What are we trying to determine is who that phone belongs to. Who cares about what phone numbers are stored on it? Besides, who knows? Maybe you went and added some of those numbers in yourself. Witness is quite right. I'm afraid I have to reject the defense's proposal. Jumps back to his arrogant, annoying self again. Cell phone. Has to be something I've overlooked. It's got to be. Maybe. It's the stored numbers again. I got it. We should check for fingerprints. Fingerprints? Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Wellington must have left some prints on this phone. Nick, don't you remember? When you got that from Maggie, you wiped it off. I what? You said there was sand all over it, so... What? Wiped it? I wiped it? Pretty thoroughly, too. It's oh so much fun watching third-rate trash babble like morons. Morons, that's the word, amongst themselves. Just made a complete recovery. How many times do I have to say this? My phone is right here. You see? Oh, and incidentally, you can't check the numbers stored on this phone. It must have glitched because all the numbers just magically disappeared. You gotta be joking. He erased all the numbers I was going to use as evidence? Mr. Wellington? What's this? By the tone of your voice, it sounds like you still have some fight left in you. Where did you finally find your cell phone? The one where he squishes his face is great. It's a good couple of frames. Oh, you are too much. And of course you have no idea what I'm talking about. Oh my... Now I remember. Beep. Huh? Looks like they hung up. Ah, good. I finally found it. Smack. So that's when... What's wrong, Mr. Attorney? By the harsh glare in your eyes. Nick, we've worked so hard to get this far, but if you don't do something quick, he's gonna go off scot-free. I know this phone has to be his. But how am I supposed to prove something like that? Mr. Wright, if you cannot prove who the owner of that cell phone is, your indictment has no basis and therefore no power. It looks like you came up a penny short. I love that phrase. Penny short. Dollar. Where did I go wrong? Don't blame yourself. You're merely a third-rate lawyer. You only made one big mistake. Who are you? What are you? That's something you haven't figured out for yourself yet. Who am I? The court hereby concludes the cross-examination. That'll be all. I'll have to bid you gentlemen and ladies goodbye. I have a reservation at that ultra-fancy restaurant on the upper side of town.
Thank you for your assistance. You've had a stressful day, so please, bon appetit.
What am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to just let it go at that? No. You're not supposed to. Spoiler alert. Please wait, Your Honor. All right, Nick. I think I may be able to prove it. Prove it? Prove what, Mr. Wright? Everything.
Your Honor, the cross-examination has already ended. I heard you bang your little thing. Besides, the defense is just going to badger the witness with more inane questions.
You will not harass the witness. Is that clear, Mr. Wright?
Did you hear that? No harassment allowed, Mr. Attorney.
Please, Your Honor. Very well. But this is your last chance, Mr. Wright. You may present one piece of evidence to the court. Only get one shot at this. If you cannot prove everything, it's over for your client and for you. Do you fully understand? Yes, Your Honor.
I'm sure you're well aware, Your Honor, but the cross-examination period has ended.
Are you paying attention, Mr. Payne? I said that Mr. Wright could present only one more piece of evidence.
Oh.
Now then, Mr. Wright, this is your last chance. It all comes down to this. It's go time. Please present the one piece of evidence that will explain everything. How am I supposed to know? The one piece of evidence that explains everything. What? Why do I really want to pick this again? It's the one thing we haven't used yet. And again, none of these other things make sense. How, this is such a wild thing. Like, it's clearly, okay. Here I go. We're in part 2, and now I'm complaining about the game. It's clear the game is saying, alright, it's presenting in the story that this is like a Hail Mary type situation. Right? But then the gameplay part of it shouldn't be like, oh yeah, you're just randomly picking an item and hoping for the best here, because fucking none of these other things are making sense as to why it would be like the logical item that's gonna solve all mysteries. God, I'm gonna pick the wrong item after redo this. For fuck's sake. Part of me just wants to pick this because it hasn't been used. There's a sick part of me. Why? Thank you. How nice. Here, please have one of mine. Judge's business card added to the court record. It's written in fancy script. Think is strong and clear, but I still can't read it. Wait, what am I doing? This isn't the time to be exchanging business cards. Your Honor, there's something very important about that card. And that is the back of the card. This card is important because of what is on the back. You wrote your cell phone number on the back, but that's exactly it. Can you please call this number from your cell phone? Huh? Right now? But court is still in session. It's okay. You'll see. Okay, if you say so. Is the defense preparing something, Mr. Wright? We're going to call my cell phone now. And then the court will see everything for what it is. Of all the idiotic, stupid things, too. But why is my phone? What is with this stupid sounding ringtone? Beep. I see. I see. It all makes sense. Of course. It's all has been revealed. That is not his phone. That is Phoenix's phone. I guess that's one way of getting there. Mr. Wellington? How strange. I can almost swear that you're holding my phone. Hey, you're... no. It can't. By the way, before I forget, thank you very much for the lump on my head this morning. I don't think I need to explain any further except to say, when you went to retrieve your cell phone, you mistakenly took the wrong one. So that is what happened. You were knocked out by Mr. Wellington. He is a man who lives on his pride and self-image alone. In order to hide his involvement with the con artist group, he's become paranoid and has lost all ability to make rational judgments.
Then, Mr. Wright, the phone you're holding.
It's Mr. Wellington's, naturally. Speaking of that man, how is he, Mr. Payne?
He was arrested and has been taken away, Your Honor.
Very well. Now then, this court finds the defendant. Maggie Bird, I'm gonna sneeze. Oh, it's almost there. Oh, maybe I'm not. I guess not. That's annoying. Maggie Bird. Not guilty. Confetti is always very funny to me. That is all. This court is adjourned. September 8th, 2:16 p.m. District Court. Defendant lobby number 1.
I knew that the real you would shine through eventually. I am so moved by what you've done for me, sir.
How old is Phoenix again? Am I in her dating range?
Thank you so much, Mr. Wright.
I feel really bad for Dustin. He didn't do anything to deserve this. Except be a cop. It's like one of those situations where I think I'm legally supposed to say, that's a joke. Just to cover all bases. I don't know. The last thing I need is like one of these streams to like somehow be used as evidence against me in some really crazy situation, you know? It's probably because of me. Huh?
My whole life has been nothing but a whirlwind of bad luck and failures.
Your whole life? Can't be that bad, can it? Since I was 6 months old when I fell from the 9th floor of my apartment building. What the hell? I've been hit by all sorts of vehicles. Gotten sick from all sorts of foods. Failed at almost every test I've ever taken. Experienced almost every kind of disaster. Never won or even tied a game of tic-tac-toe. Life has really been nothing but a string of disasters. That is, pretty bad. Up until I went to college, I was known as the Goddess of Misfortune. That is a dope-ass nickname to have. If she was truly known as the Goddess of Misfortune. Honestly, if your nickname, if you have a well-known nickname and it's God or Goddess of like anything, it's pretty dope. Just put it out there. And then, at the academy, everyone called me Lady Luckless. Lady Luckless. What's worse is that my misfortune always seems to latch onto those around me. What do you mean? When I see someone in trouble, I always try to help. Ah, that's right. You were talking about this earlier. It happened again recently too, sir. There was an old lady pacing back and forth by the pedestrian crosswalk, and then I accidentally sneezed and pushed her into the traffic. I gave her my hand, and before I knew it, we were having dinner at my house. Oh. I'm sure that Dustin's gone because of me. That's not true. That glove didn't even have any sort of special meaning. It was just a present to say thanks for covering one of my night shifts. Oh, I see. Everything is all my fault. Dustin's death, your head being all messed up. Well, I don't think my head is that messed up yet. I'm going to find a new life for myself starting now. The next time we meet, I'm sure I'll have found a whole ocean's worth of good luck by then, sir. Yeah, after all, goddess of misfortune is only a name. A cool one. You bet, I'm gonna make it, I promise. Next time we meet, I'll only be an unlucky person instead of a goddess. Yeah, that's the spirit. Well, Mr. Wright, Maya, I should get going. Okay, good luck to you. Thanks. You take care of yourselves too. Sigh. What a horrible day. Got my memory back. Things are still a little fuzzy. But you're okay, and that's what counts. You really had me worried. Come on, let's go back to the office. Afraid to ask, but here goes. So, this might sound bad, but who are you? What? I thought you said you got your memory back. The puffy cheeks face where it goes. At that moment, everything really did come back to me. How convenient. Detective Gumshoe. He's someone I've had clashes with in the past during certain cases, but he's also been a good ally during others. Oh man, this is like if you had if you didn't play the first game, or I guess in theory if you long time since you played the first game, and you're like, who are all these characters? They're such characters. The judge. He's a lovable, kind old man who is easily swayed by other people's opinions. Exactly what you need in judges. But in the end, he always comes up with the right verdict. This person, I haven't got a clue. He seems to know me, but maybe he's mistaking me for someone else. God, they really did him dirty right there. The disrespect. And this girl, Maya? You finally remembered. This is Maya Fey, my assistant. That's right. I have so many unforgettable memories about her. For example, Earth to Nick, what's wrong? You keep staring at me. Don't tell me you've missed me. Well, yeah, I suppose I have. Feel like I haven't seen you in ages. Oh, well, I'm back now. So it's time for us to create new memories together. Alright, sounds good. All the phone numbers on my phone were erased by Mr. Wellington. Guess I have to start over from the very beginning. Come on, Nick, let's go to our usual burger joint. Okay. Actually, it hasn't even been that long since you came back into my life. And that story began on one rainy afternoon 2 months ago. Episode 1, The Lost Turnabout. The end. Nice. A brand new episode has been added. Nice. Who's this young little girl? She's a poor, even more baby. Are we just feels like our assistants are just getting younger and younger. In the third game, we end up pulling an assistant who just ends up being an actual baby and is just in a little stroller or something. an actual stroller. All right. I do really like the idea of ending at the end of an episode. I mean, stream's only like an hour and 20 minutes. You know what? We'll call it an early Friday. We'll give myself some time back here on this Friday night. Like I said, I do have a 3-day weekend here, so I imagine you're going to see more of this game. You're going to see Strangers of Paradise. And like I said, I want to finish Stranger of Paradise this weekend, probably by Monday. So maybe something along the lines of like Stranger of Paradise tomorrow, Phoenix Wright Sunday night, and then Monday do Stranger of Paradise to finish, and maybe also Phoenix Wright. Or depending if I start stream earlier on Saturday, maybe I do both games on Saturday. You know, something along those lines. But really, just the plates. If my stream, if this channel is a giant plate, there isn't a ton on it right at the moment, because I really do not want to lose steam on finishing Phoenix Wright. I think I talked about this earlier. So I don't want to like overcrowd and start a bunch of stuff at the moment until I really get through the series. And obviously Stranger of Paradise is going to finish up here, like I said, hopefully this weekend. So obviously I have stuff planned for when that's finished, but yeah. So I'm not going to crowd too many small things even. So this weekend will be mostly just Stranger of Paradise in this game. So we'll see more of this at least at some point. Stranger of Paradise, though, will be the main focus this weekend, but we'll definitely see Phoenix Wright. That's what you can take to the bank. We'll start episode 2 sometime. Other than that, have a great rest of your Friday night. Have a great weekend. And I'll see you tomorrow night. I won't be doing a day stream tomorrow. It'll definitely be a night stream, though. Well, I shouldn't say definitely, because always things can happen, but like, if I stream tomorrow, it's going to be at night. I'm still going to be busy during the weekend days, most likely, for the foreseeable months. So, weekend streams are going to be pretty rare. So, yeah. Bye.